were able to participate in the International Coastal Day cleanup that was along the Palisados Road. I'm sure you saw it in the news, but the particular contribution of UTEC CKI, which is one of our clubs, you can see on our IG page or also on the UTEC CKI page. And congratulations to CKI advisor Ray J for his management and his supervision for that project. Coming up, very important, President-designate Zuri and the Kiwanis Club of Kingston invites you to our installation ceremony. That's Saturday, October 11th. It promises to be an exciting and elegant event. We're having it Saturday at 4 p.m. at the Hope United Church. That's the same church that is on the grounds of the Mona Preparatory School. It's the starting of a new administration. We're going to start with a bang, and we encourage all our members to come out and participate in that event. So that's Saturday, October 11th at 4 p.m. Also, next week, Tuesday, that's September 30th, we're not going to have an online meeting. We're going to have an in-person meeting at our secretariat that's located at the National Chest Hospital. And it will be the last meeting for this administration. So we're also planning an exciting and eventful final meeting for this administration. We are going to do a number of things. We're going to have the induction of two new members, two new Kiwanians, Prospector Jorwin Burton, as well as Ajay Mattis will both be inducted. I also will give my year in review, and there will be a lots of fun and fellowship as we conclude this administration, and then we move into the new administration year in October. Finally, our guest presenter this evening, I'm proud to be able to host or welcome my wife. Yes, my wife will be, her resume speaks for herself. She's very qualified. DP Stu and myself have been trying to get her for a long time now to come and address the club. And so we're happy that she's finally found the time. She's very busy. And actually, she's currently taking time out of her position of chairman of JPEX, which is going on currently in Montego Bay, to take time to make a presentation this evening. She'll be talking about tourism, the driver of the economy, linkages and opportunities, which basically a lot of people think of tourism as just the beach and the sand and the reggae. And in our presentation, I'm sure she's going to share with us some of the exciting things that are going on at JPEX and how we can see tourism not just as those three things I mentioned, sorry, but much, much more. And she will be able to share her wealth and her knowledge in this industry. I myself, I'm looking forward to the presentation, and I'm happy that she's be able to find the time to present to us this evening. So looking forward to the presentation, Nicola, and you'll be formally introduced later on in the program and at about 7:20, 7:30 when we get into our main event. So those are the main things that I have as my opening remarks, but I do see President-designate Zuri online, and I'm going to task him with doing the formal or the welcome and introduction to visiting Kiwanians, guests, and other persons who may be online. PD Zuri, I think I saw you.
Thank you, President Stephen.
All right.
Good evening, everyone. President Stephen, I had my welcome rehearsed and I was ready to say, let's welcome our special guest. And I wonder if she's of any relation, but you just burst the bubble.
I'm sorry. I burst your bubble. I didn't know that was in your script. We need to consult.
That's fine.
You can still say it. The joke is still over to you.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another of the weekly meetings of the Kiwanis Club of Kingston. This evening promises to be a very exciting meeting. It's the penultimate meeting of the Kiwanian year, and it is our pleasure to have you join us this evening. It is my task to specially welcome our guest speaker for this evening's meeting, Mrs. Nicola Madden-Gregg Odie. And as you have already been told, she is the wife of our president, right? So I know that it's going to be an thoughtful, exciting, and mind-opening presentation. So Mrs. Gregg, welcome to our meeting. And I'm going to say, if you have any delegation joining you this evening, outside of the president, we extend a special welcome to them as well. I am also now going to go ahead and give our Kiwanis Clubs Online the opportunity to bring us greetings from wherever they are across the globe. And as usual, I'm going to start with Kiwanis Clubs outside of Jamaica. Do we have any Kiwanis Clubs online that's visiting from outside Jamaica?
Hello, PE Dury, President Stephen. This is Angela, Director with Global Alliance. I'm currently here by myself. 3 other members are joining another group in Orlando currently, and I'm expecting more to join. Thanks so much for the invite, and I am looking forward to this interesting meeting. Thank you.
Thank you for joining, and it is our pleasure to have you joining us all the way from the universe. Wait, was it again? The universe of Broward. It's our pleasure to have you.
Thank you.
Do we have any other clubs outside of Jamaica joining? All right, let's try Division 25. Do we have any Kiwanis clubs from Division 25?
Good evening, PD Zuri. This is Director Crystal Heaven from the Kiwanis Club of Montego Bay. We have 2 persons so far. We're looking forward to a great meeting with Mrs. Gregor. It's a pleasure to see her again today. So looking forward to her presentation.
Thank you, Director Crystal, and your team from the Kiwanis Club of Montego Bay. It's such a pleasure to have you always been on and being so constant. We do enjoy your company. Do we have any other clubs from Division 25? How about Division 24? Division 23 East. Division 23.
Zurich. I am Judith Douglas from the Kiwanis Club of New Kingston, and it's really our pleasure to interclub with our dads this evening. I counted 5 online recently. I don't know if anybody else has joined since, but thank you so much for the invitation, and we look forward to a wonderful evening. Thank you.
You're welcome, and it's our pleasure to have you joining us. And we promise that it will be quite interesting. So stay tuned to get your notebooks and your pens and get ready for an informative and insightful presentation. Do we have any other clubs from Division 23 East? All right, let's try Division 23 West.
Good evening.
Good evening.
This is President Ornette from the Kiwanis Club of Sunshine City, Portmore. We bring you warm greetings this evening, and at the moment there are 3 of us online. We are looking forward to a really informative meeting, and we want to thank you for the invitation.
You're welcome. You're welcome, President. Thanks for joining. Let's try Division 23 Central. Do we have any visiting clubs from Division 23 Central?
Good evening, President Zuri.
Designate. Good evening.
Designate Zuri. Sorry about that. This is DPR from the Kiwanis Club North St. Andrew. We are 3 online. Thank you for the invite. Hoping you have a great meeting. Thanks.
You're welcome, and it's our pleasure to have you on, and we do hope you enjoy your stay with us this evening. Do we have any other clubs from Division 23 Central? How about our SLPs? Do we have any SLP members online? Guest of Kiwanians? Well, what I will say to those who are online, I do hope you enjoy your meeting and we look forward to you joining us again. And if you can join us in person next week, Tuesday, we would really appreciate it. Have a good evening, everyone. Back to you, President Stephen.
Thank you, President-designate Zuri. Well done, of course, as usual. So we move along with the program. Apologies for absence. I would defer to Secretary Willie. Are there any members who have indicated their apologies?
We have an apology from distinguished President Richard Reese. And of course, we apologize for Treasurer Orville, who is in Grand Cayman at this time. Thank you.
Okay. Yes, duly noted. Thank you, Secretary Willie. And now I'm going to ask DP Newton, who I think I saw online, to come in for birthdays and anniversaries this week. Over to you, Newton. I think I saw Newton.
I am here, Prez.
Okay, good.
I was just having a little problem muting. And well, I don't know, but I hope you're not the next Sarge for this club, but you are the happiest this evening I've ever seen you. I wonder why.
Anyway, I wonder why myself.
Anyway, my mother said I must stay out of people's business, so let me do what I'm here for. I am here to do the birthdays and anniversaries. And I want to start off by wishing DP Evan belated. DP Evan Brown, the 22nd was his birthday. So we want to wish him belated happy birthday. And also past Chairman Clarence Watson, whose birthday was on the 23rd. But I was not here last week. I don't know if we did it, but it would be remiss of me if I didn't say happy belated birthday to DLG Eileen. I don't know if you know, but DLG Eileen's birthday was on the 21st of this month. Now, coming back closer to home, I am going to tell tales out of school. We have an eminent presenter this evening, and as you hear, they have been chasing her for some time and she would not allow them to catch her. But on the 24th, which is tomorrow, is President Stephen's birthday. So I kind of suspect that her coming on this evening is probably his birthday present. I don't know, sir, but you know, happy birthday when it comes. I see you're getting an early birthday present.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
and for the other chaser, DP Stewart, I hope, sir, that you remember that on the 26th is yours and Kerry's anniversary. Right? That is 2 days from now. So please remember when the time comes around. Those are the persons we have listed from our club for this week. But if there's anyone online now that is celebrating any sort of special occasion, we would be happy if you could just open your microphone, let us know so that we can celebrate with you. Anyone? Well, no. All right, good. Well, I know guest speaker tonight has a whole lot to say, and we all want to hear what she has to say. So it is back to you, President, the happy President Stephen.
DP Newton.
Hello.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Sorry I missed the introduction. I'm President Ubrele from 23 Central Surrey Online, and at this time we have a delegation of about 2 with dual member, DLG Desmond being one of them. But I also want to let you know that today is one of my nephew's birthday. He turns 16 today.
Okay.
Yes, so.
Big man.
I know. You should see him. He's tall and has beard and whiskers and everything.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Eurydice. I mean, you know, we're always happy to have you. Always happy to have you. And happy birthday to your nephew.
Yes, thanks. I'll pass it on. Thanks.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else?
Hello, good evening. This is Shanoya James. I'm representing the Caribbean District of the Circle K International. I serve as the Lieutenant Governor for the Palm Division. It's my first time on. I'm looking forward to this meeting and I hope that I'll learn something.
Thank you, LG Shanoya. And I can absolutely guarantee that you are going to learn something. You're going to, well, not something, you're going to learn a whole lot. When you see the pedigree of tonight's speaker, there is absolutely no doubt that it's going to be one of those memorable ones.
I hope so.
It will be. Trust me on that one. Anyone else? Okay, well, it's back to you, President Stephen.
Okay, thank you, DP Newton. And thank you for that feature. Well appreciated. I do see DLG, Distinguished Lieutenant Governor Desmond online. We missed you last week, Desmond, but we're looking forward to your presentation this week of Kiwanis education. I'm sure you have some information that is worthy of our knowledge and our exposure. So over to you.
Thank you, President Stephen. Good evening, fellow Kiwanians, SLP members and guests. I'll talk briefly, of course, about deletion. When should we delete members from the Kiwanis membership roster? Members are deleted from a Kiwanis roster for reasons including non-payment of dues, resignation, or disciplinary action for conduct unbecoming. The club secretary is responsible for updating the roster with all additions and deletions. The deadline for deletion to avoid being billed for their annual dues is October 10. For non-payment of dues, Kiwanis International bylaws permit local clubs to establish their own policies regarding the duration of membership in arrears before a member is considered not in good standing. So some clubs may have 2 months, 3 months, or more than 3 months, for which you can be considered not in good standing. Resignation. For resignation, a Kiwanis member may resign at any time by providing written, and I emphasize written, notice to the club. The member's deletion from the roster is effective as soon as the club receives the written notice, unless the member specifies a later date. Kiwanis International encourages clubs, really, to conduct an exit interview with resigning members to understand the reasons for their departure. This can be used to improve the club and help retain other members. And we did say that you can be deleted for disciplinary action. So in cases of severe misconduct, a member may be removed from the club after a formal process, such as allegation. A member may submit a written allegation of quote-unquote conduct unbecoming to the club president. The board has a hearing, the board holds a hearing, and with 2/3 vote may suspend or remove the member from the roster. And just finally, confidentiality. The process and records are kept confidential. An official report sent to Kiwanis International and the district to prevent the member from rejoining another club without proper disclosure. And that is it for Kiwanis Education, President. Thank you.
Thank you, DLG Desmond. Very important at this time as we move to the end of the Kiwanian year. We need to take an assessment of active Kiwanians and whether there is need for deletion or in some case addition. So that's across the board, both Kiwanis and service leadership programs also. Just a quick reminder to all our Kiwanians and guests that we'd like to make our meetings interactive. So please make use of the chat feature on the Zoom. If you have any comments or if you have any questions, feel free to post it in there. Everybody will see it, and everybody has a voice. So we'd like for your participation both on screen or in the chat. So with that note, I'm now going to transition to our guest speaker. And to introduce our guest speaker, we have none other than distinguished President Dalma, who will now go through the formalities of the guest speaker. Over to you, Dalma.
Thank you, President Stephen, fellow Kiwanians, SLP members, guests. For one moment, I thought President Stephen was going to steal my thunder. He came close, but just stopped short. Tonight, we welcome a woman who embodies excellence, vision, and Caribbean pride, Mrs. Nicola Madden-Gregg. Nicola is not just a leader in tourism, she's a force. With over 20 years of experience across airlines, cruise lines, attractions, and hotels. She's helped shape how the world experiences the Caribbean. As Group Director of Marketing and Sales for the Courtly Hospitality Group, she is behind some of Jamaica's most iconic hotels, including the Jamaica Pegasus Hotel here in Kingston and the Holiday Inn Resort in Montego Bay. But Nicola's impact goes far beyond boardrooms. She's a trailblazer, having served as president of both the Caribbean Hotel and Tourism Association and the Jamaica Hotel and Tourist Association. She's a current chair of the Caribbean Tourism Linkage Network, where she has championed innovation, resilience, and regional unity. Her accolades speak for themselves. The Order of Distinction from the Government of Jamaica, the CMEX Award for Excellence, and a long list of other honors which really reflect her brilliance and dedication. Yet, what truly sets Nicola apart is her heart. She's a passionate traveler, a spirited dancer, and a philanthropist. She's co-founder of the Kingston City Run, which raises funds for the homeless and vulnerable. Tonight, we are not just hearing from a tourism executive. We are hearing from a visionary, a change maker, and a proud Caribbean daughter. She will address us this evening on the interesting topic of tourism as the driver of an economy, linkages and opportunities. Please help me give a warm, joyful welcome to the incomparable Nicola Madden-Gregg. Welcome, Nicole.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for having me. It's really a pleasure to be here, of course, especially so with my husband being the president, Stephen. And yes, he's been at me for a while to join you and make this presentation. So really, as he said, this is a long time coming. As was mentioned, I'm here at the Jamaica Product Exchange, JPEX, which is our annual travel trade show where we bring in international media, or travel partners, including travel agents, tour operators, and other persons who seek to sell the Jamaican product. And this is our third day now. The first day we had our opening ceremony at the Harmony Park, Beach Park. We also had yesterday the business of tourism in terms of a forum focusing on the new trends in travel and tourism. And today we started our one-on-one meetings with our travel partners, which will continue tomorrow and close tomorrow night. So mid-conference. Today I wanted to share with you a little bit more about what we say is tourism as a driver of the economy. Many of you would say, yes, there's a hotel sector, there's the attraction, but how does that really translate to the wider economy, both in Jamaica and in the region? I'm going to start by just sharing a little video to give us some inspiration. And while you watch this video, I just ask you to think about all the potential other sectors that could be involved in realizing this vacation experience for our guests to the island. Let me just set this up here.
Did you share the sound, Nicole?
No, no sound yet.
My apologies. Let me just reshare that.
And you click share sound. So go back to share.
Yes,
Yeah.
but that
Great.
So let's take it from the top.
Ah, Jamaica. It has beaches. It has mountains. It's lively. It's laid back. It roars. It tickles. It's sweet. It's spicy. It's hot. It's luxurious. It's adventurous. It's aged. It's brand new. It's mysterious. It's obvious. It's daring. It's relaxing. It's world famous. But it's down to earth too. That's Jamaica. It's a vibe. It's a vacation. Come and see for yourself.
So it's a vibe, it's a vacation, as I say, come and see for yourself. So if you looked at that video, besides seeing all the cool elements or nature or culture, you would have seen a lot of other interesting things. That is what exactly goes into creating a vacation experience, what goes into creating the tourism product. And all of that is really around linkages. So let me set the stage a little bit in terms of what is happening in tourism and what the future of tourism looks like. The World Travel and Tourism Council looked forward and did an economic impacts report on Caribbean tourism. And basically in 2019, just pre-COVID, we were looking at our total GDP contribution, which was above the global average, was at 13.7%, but it's projected to grow to 14.2% by 2032. In terms of travel and tourism jobs, the Caribbean accounts for 15.6% in 2019, and that's expected to move to 17.7%. And the expected new jobs coming out of travel and tourism by 2032 is 1.32 million potential new jobs. So that is the power of what tourism can do. But let's look at our performance so far. I'm going to take you into the Caribbean and then I'm going to take you into Jamaica. For the past year, we have seen approximately 34.2 million international tourist arrivals. This is an increase of 6.1% over 2023 and 6.9% over 2019. We've also seen expansion in the cruise sector with reported 33.7 million cruise visits, up 10.3% over 2023 and 10.9% over the pre-pandemic levels. Our occupancies are also up, as well as our ADR. ADR is average daily rate. That's what you pay on average for a hotel room. Now, in some destinations, it's quite high, up to $2,000 a night. In others, it may be less, $150, $200 a night. So on average in the region, we're looking at $437. For 2025, the CTO, that's the Caribbean Tourism Organization, expects stopover visitors will increase by between 2 to 5%, reaching approximately 35 million, with cruise arrivals also expected to grow. However, there's been a lot of headwinds this year, and so there's a mixed bag performance for some destinations which are experiencing declines. But let's take a look at Jamaica. Jamaica performance for 2024, we had an over 2.9 million stopover arrivals. We had just 1.253 cruise passengers, a total of 4.153 million visitors, earning approximately gross foreign exchange of $4.3 billion. For 2025, stopover arrivals is expected to go up to 3.131 million, with cruise passengers at 1.384 million, a total of 4.516311 million. Again, with gross foreign exchange in the region of 4.6 billion. This is major in terms of where Jamaica tourism is going, but not only Jamaica, the Caribbean. But what else is happening? We're seeing a massive growth in terms of rooms. When we looked at it in 2024, in the Caribbean, there was, and this is not all destinations, this was the majority of the destinations, we're looking to add another 30,000 rooms approximately across the region. But what's happening in Jamaica? Jamaica has already added the 1,000 room Princess Grand, which opened in 2024, the 759 Rio Aquel. The Princess Grand will open Jamaica's first casino in 2026. The 1,200 Moon Palace Grand in Montego Bay has broken ground, and that's looking at 2027 to 28. The 450 Unico is looking to open in 2026. And overall, there's approximately 15 to 20,000 rooms slated for construction over the next 5 to 10 years, valuing at 55 billion. There are proposed new developments in Kingston, the South Coast, Montego Bay, Negril, and Ocho Rios. So when we look at all this activity, we have to say to ourselves, what's happening with the actual 7 steps in which the tourist travels or the visitor travels? There's a pre-travel planning, there's the travel itself, there's transportation, there's accommodation, which we just spoke about, there's food and beverage, there's activities, and there's the travel back. And all along this line, we have to take into consideration what are the touch points for other industries. We talk about travel, so we have airline, transportation, buses, taxis, accommodations, hotels, food, restaurants, bars, farm-to-table experiences, activities, and so on. So when we speak about linkages is really how tourism impacts all the other sectors. And what we try to do in our industry is ensure that that tourism dollar stays as much on the island as possible locally. The Dominican Republic, for example, has been able to retain 50 cents in every dollar in terms of foreign retention for the tourism dollar. Jamaica is just over 40 cents. And we are looking to improve on that, not only from a public sector, but from a private sector. And as mentioned, I've been involved at JHT and the CHT, and we across the region have also been looking to see how can we retain more of that money in the hands of our nationals, Jamaican and Caribbean nationals. Because after all, if tourism is to be the driver, it must also drive generational wealth across the region. In Jamaica, we have approximately 350,000 jobs linked to tourism, approximately 20% of the workforce. When you look at this value chain of all the different sectors that touches onto tourism, you will see there are opportunities abound. And we're going to talk about that. But I wanted just to highlight some of what is happening in terms of tourism spending in 3 Caribbean destinations, Barbados, Dom Rep, and Jamaica. Starting with the Dominican Republic, you're seeing that vacationers are coming and they're looking for different things. They're looking for active lifestyle, sunbathing, nature, family activities, art and culture, shopping, nightlife, food and cuisine, and wellness. It's no different in Jamaica, but as you can see from these slides, different percentages for different things. So again, you see where nightlife where in Dominican Republic, that was one of the higher ones. It is not as high in Jamaica, but then nature and sunbathing, arts and culture also reign supreme. In Barbados, it's very different. You see sunbathing, nature, arts and culture, active lifestyle is further down, nightlife even further down. So visitors are looking for different things across different destinations. And how do we ensure that we are able to deliver these experiences, but deliver them with local content, local input, not only in terms of individuals who are actually delivering the service, which is a very big part of it, the people, but the products, the experiences, the other services that come into play. We recently did a survey of our Caribbean hoteliers and hotel associations, and we asked them, are local tourism-related businesses purchasing products from supplier source and produced elsewhere in the Caribbean? 50% of them said yes, 11% said no, and 39% said they didn't know. A lot of our members asked, where can I find products and services in the Caribbean? I know where I can find them in the US market. There's a lot of activity there, and people tend to come to the Caribbean to sell us. But are our Caribbean producers or manufacturers coming and speaking to the hotel sector? Our hotels are experiencing challenging insecurity supplies from the Caribbean due to shipping costs and availability. This is a big one. There is a big challenge there. Shipping is a big problem, and the availability of goods and services. The CSME imports are also subset to the alternate sourcing. The Caribbean Private Sector Organization recently did this study, and they thought about how we can have potential savings. And the areas that they looked at were machinery and electrical equipment, agriculture and food supplies, and chemicals. The potential savings, or what we want to say here is lack of leakages, would be that Trinidad, for example, Jamaica and the OECS can expect to save in respectively 361 million, 313, and 261 million. So there's a lot of opportunity that abounds within the region for us to buy goods and services from each other in order to support the tourism sector. I'm going to go into a little bit some of these opportunities, and I'm going to talk about some major areas. And then I'm going to drill down into maybe 4 areas because there's so much. I'm going to focus a little bit on events, health and wellness, gastronomy, and real estate development. But overall, linkages could touch agriculture and fisheries, art, culture and heritage, energy and environment, food and beverage, health and wellness, transportation and logistics, education and training, sports and adventure, the creative industries, events, media, and of course, manufacturing. Events as a catalyst for tourism growth and linkages opportunities is real. Events span culture, music, and sports and entertainment, and these serve as powerful catalysts for tourism, creating urgency, generating significant social buzz, and providing travelers with compelling reasons to book a trip. When we look at different types of travelers and what we can use to motivate them, you have the Gen Zs, you have the Gen Y, and of course you have the millennials. And they're looking for different things. They want to prioritize attending events over other activities. There are some essentialists, as they call them, that would like to embrace 5K walks, spirituality events, networking, speed dating, and silent discos. Now, when we think about tourism, we typically think about sun, sea, and sand. And we typically think about the hotel and the attraction. But of course, this is another area that we could be looking at. Spirituality events, silent discos, we're seeing that popping up in some of our hotels. 5Ks, as mentioned earlier, I'm the co-founder of the Kingston City Run, and we have been actively promoting our half marathon, marathon, 10K and 5K, both locally and internationally. And people travel for this. People want to be engaged in this way. What about connection seekers? Calabash is one of the events that currently exist in Jamaica that really hits this specific group of people, that they're looking for persons who have similar interests to them. They want to connect, they want to be a part of the community. And St. Elizabeth, Treasure Beach, that area is really about that kind of connectivity and community development. So that's another area that we find that there is opportunity, continuing to build out other community tourism areas and utilizing these various factors like persons who are looking for connections to attract this market. Of course, there are the experience chasers. Many people prioritize experience over physical gifts, and persons are looking to receive tickets to an experience than a physical gift. Carnival is something, or Sumfest. Many of our events are definitely things that persons can utilize. And how can we capitalize on these natural assets that we already have? Persons are also looking for virtual events. So we could stay here in Jamaica and as a linkage to the international market, seek to put on a virtual event that could capture the minds of our international travelers, which of course you can convert into actually getting them to become a stopover arrival. They're looking at social media, they're looking for how to attend these various events, and we're finding that, of course, these social savvy attendees tend to be female, 46% compared to men, and are predominantly Gen Z and Gen Y. I wanted to speak about this particular phenomenon, the Bad Bunny effect. Does anybody know who Bad Bunny is on this call? No one?
No. Yeah, I've heard reference to him recently. Mr. Art.
Yes, I gave it away because I put reggaeton right up there. Bad Bunny is a Puerto Rican artist, and he recently decided to do his residency in Puerto Rico. It was a 30-concert residency. And what you're seeing here is the impact of the Bad Bunny. Once he announced that he was going to do this, you saw flight searches went way up in terms of looking to come to Puerto Rico. On the right side, you saw the flight searches between July and September that people were just crazy looking to book. He decided that instead of touring the world, he would just have a residency in Puerto Rico to drive business to his island. And it's generated approximately $733 million for the economy of Puerto Rico in that period of time that he had his 30-set residency. Now, this is something that has never been done in Jamaica, and this is something that was unique to him. But this is potentially something that we could consider, a residency by one of our biggest artists. Carnival as a big event, as you know, the Tourism Enhancement Fund created Carnival in Jamaica Secretariat to bring all the bands together to see how we could capitalize on Carnival. This they have shared publicly, which is that in 2024, this initiative generated an estimated 4.42 billion in direct spending, Jamaican dollars. The total economic impact was 95.4 billion, and it supported over 115,000 full-time equivalent jobs, mainly in tourism, retail, entertainment, and the creative sector. Visitex patrons spent on average US $3,209. This included accommodation, entertainment, transportation. And most of our visitors was from the US, and over 54% were first-time attendees in 2024. Now, Carnival is a unique experience, and it again showcases the linkages. A lot of the money that was spent on hair, makeup, shoes, besides the entertainment tickets to go to the various things, transportation, food and beverage. So there is just a synergy of so many things. I'm sure some of you would have heard about Carnival Glam Hub. Any carnivalists on the line? I see a few hands going up. Carnival Glam Hub has grown so much now that what they do is for the persons who are going on the road, they do their makeup, they do their hair, and help them to get into their outfits. They take up an entire ballroom at our hotel, the Jamaica Pegasus, as well as there's several satellite versions of Carnival Glam Hub that has come into being. And that is significant impact on another industry that is really benefiting from an event that is seeking to not only have local impact, but bring in regional and international travelers. The second area I wanted to focus on is health and wellness. Health and wellness is one of those areas that is driving a lot of visitor arrivals. And we are seeing that a lot of respondents, 79% based on a McKinsey report, believe health and wellness was important. 42% considered it a top priority, and there's growing reputation. The impact of the global pandemic saw that there was a definite appetite in increase in demand for nature-based and holistic treatments. COVID-19 created what we call the loneliness epidemic. There are still issues on mental health and mindfulness, and we have seen that detox treatments, spa retreats, soft adventure sports tourism, and family retreats have become even more important. I'm going to play this video for you now. I hope the sound is there this time around. Oops, sorry, go back.
Mindfulness apps, sleep aids, smart foods, smart bikes, health trackers, aromatherapy, injectables, organic everything. People are spending more on wellness than they ever have before. Wellness is now a $1.5 trillion market worldwide, and it's growing at a clip of 5 to 10% each year. McKinsey research shows that consumers are most interested in 6 wellness categories: health, fitness, nutrition, appearance, sleep, and mindfulness. New wellness products and services are hitting the market every day. So what might wellness look like in 2030? Let's look into the future.
I see there being a lot more offerings that let consumers triage any medical issues and take care of things for the most part by themselves, and only bringing in a doctor when that's really absolutely necessary. I also see this concept of devices moving from the doctor's office into the home. The pharmaceutical products of today will become the over-the-counter, easily accessible products of tomorrow.
I definitely don't see a world where it's just the at-home solutions and there's no gyms and no studio. I don't see that at all. I always like to say if Starbucks likes to think it can be a third place, then a gym can very well be a third place. And we'll also see, I think, a next step in terms of the ability to track or to give people ability to, hey, how do I know I'm improving? Tracking actually plays a very strong role. Not in optimizing everything, but in actually playing a strong motivation and guidance or coaching role.
People are reading a lot more labels. We think that will continue. They're looking to reduce sugar, but they are also looking for more sustainable eating. So we now have about 35% of consumers in the UK, the US, and Germany drinking plant-based milk at least some of the time. Half of them started in the last year. So that's quite a sea change, much faster than we usually see in the way we eat. And we think it's going to keep going.
So in 2030, I think that there's actually going to be an expansive amount of services that are offered within beauty retailers. You'll have the opportunity to actually get injectable services done. So if you want to plump up your cheeks or you want to plump up your lips, you'll be able to get clinical treatments like microdermabrasion that up until now have really been, saved for being done at a dermatologist office or a med spa. You might actually be able to get a tattoo at the same place that you're buying your makeup, because it's all about how you want to express yourself.
There's new innovations with sensors going under the mattress that can tell both how much you're moving around at sleep, how much time you spent in the bed. Imagine if your sleep data was connected to your exercise service or your exercise bike or your trainer. And now when you hop onto your bike, you are getting a class that's designed for someone that's having a poor night's sleep. Or imagine your fridge is starting to make suggestions to you. Don't make coffee.
I actually believe that mindfulness and the pursuit of mindfulness will become an essential aspect of how we live our lives. There is a little bit of, in my mind, a risk of the over-commercialization and frankly, being a bit of a gimmick. At least what's happening is people are more aware of this as an offering, as a service. I do think that, technology and wearables will have a big role to play in this. A typical day for somebody who's a professional could look like they may actually start the day with either an offline or an online yoga or meditation class. And again, back through the wearable, at whatever time in the evening, it'll start telling you, listen, you need to now quieten your mind. It's easy to kind of dream those sorts of possibilities.
If wellness in 2030 will indeed be more tech-heavy, personalized, and interconnected, what does that mean for companies? What should companies do today to be successful in 2030?
It's critical to think about your digital strategy, and we mean that in a really broad sense. So both from a channel perspective, are you well set up to succeed, especially in e-commerce? And then also from a marketing perspective, leveraging the power of social and influencers.
Data is going to be the key. And having a way to tie these different data systems together is probably the best secret. Interconnectedness of data, interconnectedness of partnerships, that's going to be the real opportunity here.
So by 2030, I really think we're going to see a completely different store experience. It's about capturing that concept of discovery, either through services or through classes or through just a curated, excited, and gamified experience in order to bring that consumer in. So being able to see 3D versions of your face and actually being able to apply different color cosmetic products to it so that then you can just simply hit buy and have all of the products sent to your home.
Understand how your value proposition might have changed. If, as an example, you're a gym and you realize that in this more diverse routine, people are more creative about how they do cardio. How do I make sure I am seen as one of the solutions of today?
We think consumer goods companies need to own the explosion of small in their own categories. A lot of the growth is in smaller niche products. Consumer goods companies have all the expertise they need to excel at those. They don't always like the economics. Keep experimenting with ways to get great at small.
You've got to think about the individual as a whole person. I think a lot of offerings are coming at the individuals almost as components, as opposed to thinking of them as a whole human being and thinking about the arc of their day or the arc of their year and where is all that going to fit in it. Think about what is truly going to have lasting change.
So that basically is an overarching kind of video that speaks to the health and wellness movement. And we're finding that our travelers are also prioritizing health and wellness. And as that becomes more the norm, tourism has to respond. And some hotels, some attractions, some destinations have already started to respond. We are seeing that, for example, at the Accor Fairmont Windsor Park Hotel, guests come loaded with their own health data. They're exploring ways to create bespoke wellness experiences, in terms of spa, nutrition, fitness. And it's the same thing we have to think about here in Jamaica. How can we introduce new products and services, new ways of doing spa treatments, utilizing nutraceuticals, utilizing all our natural ingredients in Jamaica to really create these products and these experiences. We have, of course, the environment around us, and how can we create those experiences that takes us out into the community, out into the nooks and cranny and the ins and outs of Jamaica so that persons can have that kind of experience. We also look at other hotels that are doing this in terms of focusing on mental wellness, leveraging data to cater to specific wellness requests. Again, looking at nutrition, zero gravity stress. A lot of persons came to Jamaica during the COVID-19 pandemic and after and just wanted to stay in a villa and just be in nature, be able to walk a trail. And are we creating more and more of those kinds of experiences? Are we allowing persons to really interact with nature? And are we creating and manufacturing products that can help us in this area? And technology plays a big part in this. Are we looking at what technological advances we can do here to also create some interesting propositions for our customers? Social media has also helped wellness tourism grow in popularity. As we've talked about, there are lots of wellness retreats, spiritual retreats. They have a combined viewing of over 33 million on TikTok. And so this is something that persons are looking for. We are seeing that more and more. And that is a very lucrative sector. People are willing to spend more money to be able to focus on their mental health, on their wellness while being on vacation. So as I said, every destination has something unique to offer. There are persons that are focusing on saunas. They're working on executive checkups, hot springs, we have Milk River Bath, we have so many different springs and mineral baths across the country. Are we utilizing them to our best advantage? There are beach resort spas, destination spas. You're looking at persons that have water parks, yoga safaris, and just so many creative ways that we can incorporate our natural assets into what is an exploding demand by the global traveler. So when you look at the wheel in terms of everything that's available in this segment, both for seek, do, and visit, you're looking at spa and beauty, mind and body, spiritual and connectivity, personal growth, eco and adventure, fitness, healthy eating. So, you know, there are so many elements that we could look to combine that would help to attract the wellness traveler. And so it is really now deepening the opportunities within tourism, not just beyond really beyond sun, sea, and sand, and taking what our travelers are saying to us and incorporating it into the products and services that we're offering today. So we see Jamaica has all the factors. We have location, we have significant airlift, we have the natural environment, we have mountains, rivers, hill, valleys, and of course, sun, sea, and sand. We have a variety of accommodation attractions. We have day spas, but our day spas really cater into this new demand for a wellness market. And what are the new products and services we need to innovate and bring into those spas? We have trails and many off the beaten paths. We have indigenous ingredients and experiences. And we are curating annual health and wellness events. But of course, we could be doing more. We're not known as a health and wellness destination, and that's something we could be capitalizing on some more by putting ourselves in the right places with the right products and letting us be seen by the right people. We look also at gastronomy, and that is to cater to healthy, authentic cuisine as a part of the wellness. Yoga retreats, as I mentioned, but something that's very big now, and we are partnering with Jamaica Tourist Board on this, which is Discover Jamaica by Bike. We have a lot of cycling holidays. This has boomed a lot, and you're seeing where leisure and weekend bikers are increasing. And Jamaica is also taking advantage of this. Of course, we could spend more, have more biking units, have more bike tours, and do other things along that line. Surfing is also spiking in its popularity. I mentioned sports earlier, of course, Kingston City Run, big plug for myself, November 2nd, Sunday at Emancipation Park. Please, if you haven't signed up yet, sign up now. And if you can't run, please donate at KingstonCityRunJA.com. We are working to ensure that the most vulnerable in our communities, the homeless, are taken care of. So it's a charity event, but this is something people are traveling for. They want to be a part of making a change in destinations. So not only are they interested in becoming, coming for the sports travel itself, but as a part of their own mental health and their own feel of connectivity to community, they want to see give back. So that is something that we are seeing a lot of. We have some interesting things that are already happening in the space. For example, we have Montego Bay. In Montego Bay, you can walk with the dogs, feed the dogs, and enjoy that in nature. You can feed the birds. You can go cycling, as I mentioned, or do the downhill Blue Mountain bicycle tour. Or you can do something else, which is to provide something, giving back to nature in terms of coral reef preservation and plant your own coral. So these are things that travelers are also seeking. Again, connection to community, sustainability, and wanting to be a part of the overall product. These are not traditional tourism areas, but these are areas that provide different kind of experiences and linkages into other industries and sectors. I want to mention here, I'm chair of the Gastronomy Tourism Network, and this is something that we've been working on in terms of food and beverage and food cuisine, the Jamaican cuisine, and pushing that out. So we did a baseline study and found out that as much as we think Jamaican food is the best, a lot of our visitors didn't really see it as a #1 priority to come to Jamaica. And we've done a lot of work in this area. We have Devon House as our first gastronomy center, of course, the Blue Mountain Culinary Trail, the Coffee Festival. We've gone internationally and represented with the Jamaica Tourist Board at various food festivals and created the Taste Jamaica brand. And this brand we utilize to really showcase Jamaican cuisine. But the story doesn't stop there. We have partnered with culinary organizations. We have the Taste Jamaica app. We continue to have seminars and different sessions to upskill our people. It was just recently announced there's a gastronomy academy that is at the Montego Bay Convention Center by Minister Bartlett, which is going to focus on training our sous chefs to become executive chefs and also to get certification. Because we recognize that food is a big thing, gastronomy is a big thing, and other destinations have used it successfully to drive tourism. So Peru, for example, is one of the #1 gastronomy destinations in the world, which has several Michelin star restaurants, and they have used cuisine to drive visitors to come to their destination, which of course feeds back into agriculture, feeds back into manufacturing, products and services. I always give this story about Jamaican and jerk, right? And before I tell that story, Thailand is also another destination that has done this successfully in terms of building out a culture around gastronomy. They even have, believe this, a Michelin star street food vendor. I'll say it again, a Michelin star street food vendor. The Michelin star is given to the best of the best of the best when it comes to food. And they have street food at such a level that their street food vendor could get a Michelin star. So it's not just high-end restaurants, it's not just upscale restaurants. You can have street food that is so unique, so special, so authentic, and at such a level that persons can get a Michelin star. So it's about authenticity, it's about living like a local, it's about moving ourselves in different spaces to ensure that the experience continues. Now, that to me is really good. But I go back to what I was mentioning, and I'll sit on this slide for a minute. Then I'll ask persons to try and tell me, why do we rank number 11? But when we look at jerk, many years ago, maybe 40-something years ago, where did we have to go to get jerk in Jamaica?
Portland, St. Thomas. And
well, Portland to Boston.
Boston jerk pork.
Boston, man. It was the only place you could go to get jerk. Now, most people, if you tell them that, they would be shocked, because jerk is proliferated all over the island. You can't drive 5 minutes without hitting a jerk shop. But that's not how it started. There was a deliberate move to expand. And I think the first jerk restaurant outside of Boston was on Chelsea Avenue in Kingston. And then there was a move to say, okay, could we bottle what they do in Boston? And could persons be able to do this at home? And that has built out one cuisine in Jamaica, manufacturing of spices, sauces, rubs, cookbooks, you name it, restaurants totally dedicated to jerk. It has spread worldwide. If you hit any city in any country in the world, you're going to find somebody doing Jamaican jerk. And that is how linkages work. That was made popular. People were just absolutely enthralled by jerk cuisine and wanted to take it back home with them to try and do it themselves. We even have a company in Jamaica now that does the pimento logs and exports them. And you can have your own pimento log wherever you are in the world to get that authentic jerk flavor in your cuisine. So that's how we backlink an industry where tourism opened and people were now dying to continue to experience this, and they have taken it back home with them. So it builds out manufacturing in so many ways. But Jamaica has pedigree in gastronomy, and we are ranked 11 on the Cambridge World Directory on Food Index, recognizing us as authentic food products. Can anybody take a guess at some of the food products that we have as authentic to Jamaica?
Curry goat?
No.
No?
No curry goats.
Pepper?
Yes, pepper, hot pepper as well as red pepper.
Yeah.
Blue Mountain Coffee.
Jamaica Blue Mountain Coffee, yes.
Jamaican patties?
No, not patties.
Ackee?
Not ackee. All right, let me give them away. Pimento, ginger, or cherries, bananas. We have plums, sorrel, and some of the other ones that were mentioned earlier. So these are what are called authentic products to Jamaica, and are because of the quality and the actual taste and the topography and everything that goes into, especially like Blue Mountain Coffee, which is really based on the soil and the climate that gives it its very special and unique flavor. So these are things that are high quality, high value, and are unique to Jamaica. So I'm going to just quickly go through some of our integration of wellness, tourism, and food. And we look at, as we said, detox retreats for culinary, Ayurvedic cooking experiences are some of the standards and trends that are out there. So we talk about maybe reestablishing our jerk trail. Villas and attractions could create a calendar of detox retreats, partnering with local, regional, and international chefs in residence. So these are some of the ideas of opportunities that exist. Another one we could look at, for example, is, as I said, travelers are seeking authentic, local, and hyper-regional dishes. You could do foraging tours, cooking with locals, community-based food tourism. We have quite a few, maybe not that many, a few farm-to-table experiences, but how could we do more of that? Or create youth foraging tours where you go into St. Elizabeth and the Cockpit country and you go and you forage for different herbs and spices and ingredients. So that's something that's very popular. We have various signature culinary events. I mentioned the Coffee Festival. We have the Jerk Festival, Rum Festival, Jamaica Food and Drink Festival, which is coming up later in the year. And we see how could we work with local promoters to improve quality and offering of festivals to incorporate modern Jamaican cuisine along with our traditional cuisine to attract these new audiences that are searching for this kind of experience. Again, tying back into agriculture, tying back into event production, promotion, so many things that when we think about creating a product for the tourism sector impacts so many other industries. What about from a technology point of view? There could be technology-enhanced culinary journeys. We are seeing AR and VR and AI in food tourism, augmented reality menus, virtual food tours, AI curated restaurant guides. In Barcelona, they have offer VR dining, food history walking tours, QR linked menus. So we could also look at that, maybe AR filters at sites as Devon House and Falmouth for recipe demos or chef histories. There's so many options where we could now incorporate technology into what we're offering. Plant-based and functional foods is very big. We are known for our ITIL food. We have been in the plant-based business long before it became popular, but I think we could do more to really expand this. And of course, that's going to make us, be authentic, because it's not only plant-based and medicinal qualities. Jamaica is known for remedies with our local herbalists, and that again into the communities provides opportunity for growth and development. Just think about, you could move out from having one small medicinal solution that is in this community, and just like how Jerk exploded and went to the world, as we would say, you could have that person become the provider of a major medicinal product that goes to the world. This one I like to share because this one is a video that I think shows you what small entrepreneurs can do in tourism and has been heavily featured by the Jamaica Tourist Board. And if you go to Priory, you'll know what I'm talking about.
It's always beautiful in Jamaica. Everything usually be green and pretty. We have beautiful water. Temperature that is normal temperature, the water never cold. We've been into business for about 13 years. JUSC-COOL, Just Cool. It's spelled with 3 0. We make 3 different types of pudding. We make potato, we make cornmeal, and we make toto. This is the cornmeal, okay? That's actually almost the last process. What he's gonna do now, he's gonna put a gel on top. Within no time, we have to take it off because the gel give it a nice taste. We have people like Shelly and Fraser came here. We have, you could name the biggest artists, Shabba Ranks, name them all. Being the Man, they all come here and buy their pudding. This is what we grew up on. Now, when the people come to Jamaica, everybody, as soon as they land off the plane, this is where they come. They want to taste this pudding because it's bringing them back to the old days. Long time days when they was kids growing up and they used to sit on the fire and watch their mama, their grandmother bake the pudding. We try not to change off our roots, we try to keep it that way. And not only that, we have a lot of love because we're all about love.
Has anybody been to the Pudding Man?
Yep. Yes. I've been there.
Those in St. Ann?
Yes. Priory.
Priory.
Okay, go to the next slide. 1 second here.
It always beautiful.
It's acting up. Escape here. 1 second. I'm going to stop sharing for a minute so that I can just escape out of this. All right, I'm right back with you. Sorry about that. It just got stuck in there for some reason in the loop. All right, so again, emphasizing the importance of linkages. We talk about agriculture, we talked about manufacturing, entertainment, training, knowledge, health and wellness, and all of this has export potential. Not just can we benefit from tourism in Jamaica, but we can benefit regionally. And if we build the right products and services and experiences, this is something our visitors will want to take back with them. So we're always working in terms of showcasing what we have in Jamaica. If you think about it, we have roughly 3 million persons in Jamaica, and we have over 4 million visitors that come every year, whether through stopover and cruise. So that's an expanded market, more than the size of the Jamaican population, and a potential additional person to buy your goods and services. So that is where we have to think. And if we think regionally, as I mentioned earlier, with the 30-something million visitors that come to the region, again, that's a potential for you to be able to attract that person to your particular product or service, and for them to experience it while they're in the region, or to take it back home, or look for it online to buy it so they can share it with their family and friends. So it is actually bringing so many visitors to the island is free marketing for any business that touches that visitor and has the ability to export, and for them to be able to take your product and service back home, or to find it when they are back home and utilize online linkages to do so. Last but not least, I'm going to just touch a little bit on real estate opportunities. As we know, there is an expansion in housing for tourism workers. So the actual accommodation sector is growing, but of course, with that, there is movement of people all over the island. And so there is development that is happening in that space. There's also a combination of private housing initiatives like the Pinnacle, which is going to be, I think, 4 towers with 28 stories each. They're featuring apartments, villas, leisure facilities, and they're also integrating sustainable housing for workers. So of course, all those workers in these various places are going to need other services. They're going to need doctors. They're going to need schools. They're going to need other things, a gym, other things. So tourism, as we move and grow in various areas of the island that maybe we weren't in so much before, is also going to build out other potential businesses in and around to support the tourism workers as well as the visitors to the region. So there is a lot of collaboration that is happening in private and public sector to look at these various possibilities. There is a continued expansion of the all-inclusive product, both in Jamaica and across the region, but there is also a build out of EP products as well, which is rooms only, not all-inclusive. We're seeing also the short-term rental apartment complexes continue to grow. Short-term rental or the shared economy continues to grow throughout the region. Some islands have up to 40% of their arrivals staying in non-hotel accommodation, but this segment is showing some slowdown with average occupancies in the region now under 40%, potentially due to oversupply. But again, it's still an opportunity if you find the right area, the right concept, you may still be able to take advantage of this need that people are looking for non-hotel accommodation, whether it's villas, guest house, and apartments. So there's some change in the industry in terms of numbers. So looking ahead, global and Caribbean demand for travel is robust, and the Jamaica and the region continues to be highly desired by international travelers. Caribbean tourism continues to exhibit tremendous resilience, and we are anticipating, as I said, up to 35 million tourists with a growth of between 5 to 10%, with cruise also expecting to grow. Jamaica is forecasting significant growth in room inventory, as mentioned before, potentially another 10,000 rooms in the next 3 to 5 years. So what are my takeaways for you today? There is rapid growth in tourism, and it requires increased focus on the supply side, and that presents numerous opportunities. I only was able to go through 4 sections of opportunity with you today, and I went through them fairly quick, but there's so many other things you can look at. I mean, we need engineers, we need doctors, we need so many other elements that push into the tourism ecosystem. We need transportation providers. We need persons who are in, what we would say in this case, sustainability and environments, because that's a big part of where tourism is now. People want sustainable development. When I have bids from corporate companies, they're asking me questions about, our waste, how do we deal with waste? How do we deal with water savings? How do we do it energy savings? So there's a lot that is happening in this space. And being in tourism doesn't only mean the traditional jobs. We're long past that. There's so many activities that are happening. On the attraction side, there is so many other opportunities in terms of what you may need to do in terms of jobs, as well as entrepreneurial pursuits. Linkages are high in terms of opportunity, as I mentioned, in agriculture, manufacturing, gastronomy, digital technology, training, and human capital development to make that new person who understands a different type of hospitality, because the consumer themselves is changing and demanding more of us. Energy supply, health and wellness, the creative sectors, entertainment, events, attractions, and micro, small, and medium-sized enterprises have a lot to gain, as we saw with the Pudding Man. The opportunity, of course, is not just local, but regional. And I would encourage all of you to reach out to the Jamaica Hotel and Tourism Association. If you're already in the space and you want to become a member and get more access to the tourism industry, they also give you access to the region through the Caribbean Hotel and Tourism Association. There is a lot that's happening in our industry. And of course, we want to ensure that tourism continues to drive the economy and definitely bring together all the various sectors that can pour into tourism and take advantage of this opportunity. Ladies and gentlemen, I conclude there, and I will stop if we have any questions at this time.
Well, thank you very much, Nicola. That was really comprehensive. And we're open to questions. So you show your hands and I will call on you. Just let me ask you this though, 2 quick things.
Yes.
What is a silent disco? That's a concept I've never heard of.
A silent disco, you get your headset, the music, the DJ plays in your headset, but if you're walking through the party, it's silent. So you don't disturb your neighbors. Because everybody has on headsets.
Okay. And could you give me an example of a virtual event that could then be turned into something from a tourism marketing point of view? I was trying to think of one. You mentioned it.
There are persons who are doing, for example, online book festivals. So while we have Calabash that's in person, so people will do that. And then they'll say, okay, but then I'm going to meet you in XYZ destination and we're going to experience the book. So we would have read the book together. We would have, done this virtually, but then we move into going to the actual destination and going to all the places that were mentioned in the book that we read and experienced in it.
Okay, gotcha. All right, let's see. Oh, I saw Norman Wright. I think it was not, but I don't see his hand anymore. Yeah,
it disappeared.
But you see, there's one. Okay.
Hello?
Okay, Norman, go ahead.
Yes, I thank you for inviting us, and it's eye-opening presentation. Certainly, we never told to learn, and thanks for your comprehensive presentation. I'm not doing the vote of thanks anyway. I just wanted to say I don't recall hearing much mention made of the role of education as an adjunct to providing, you know, we have a challenge with our schooling and education system, and I don't know how that will impact all these expectations that we have. But then I guess we could import labor.
Well, no, as I mentioned, training and human capital development is one of the areas of focus. Definitely, we have been doing some training, both private sector as well as the government, of our tourism workers, but on a larger scale, you know, to upskill and right skill other young people going into other industries to take advantage of these opportunities. I think it's incumbent on all of us to not only look at what's available in schools, but as you know, technology is there right now. For example, CHT, we have virtual online training that persons can sign up for to do any aspect of tourism and learn it online, and so they don't have to go into the classroom. So there are various opportunities that exist. There are scholarships that are offered for young persons who are interested in coming into the industry so that they can be trained. And a lot of the hotels are doing that, where they're taking young persons, 17, 18, coming out of high school, and putting them through 2 years of comprehensive training and getting them right fitted for the job. So I think the answer is an all out, all hands on deck. Not just what our current schools can do, but what we can do also for the industry. I remember when I started in this business at Half Moon, I was put through for the first 6 weeks. I don't think I did anything. I was just in training and training, even though I just come from university with a first degree. But there was a belief in training you to be able to do the to meet the expectations of the property you're at. And many hotels do that now. Our current properties at Courtly Hospitality Group, we have free training with a partnership with Heart, where our employees can do any of their skills programs, whether it's digital technology, if they want to do supervisory management, and this is available to them free. And we have trained, quite a few of our team members that have helped them to move from one position to the next in the business.
Okay, thank you. Thanks, Norman. Desmond, go ahead.
Thank you. Thank you, Nicola, for your presentation. Very comprehensive. We appreciate it. Is United States still the #1 source for our tourism market? And if so, which I think it is, how much are we factoring the cost of increased tariffs and how it is really impacting negatively on persons' spending power? That's one part of it. And two, you have so many, even Jamaicans, who are even fearful. So some of these factors, how much will they impact tourism? They're fearful in even traveling. Those who only have a green card and don't want to be out of the United States for fear that they may not get a chance to go back. How much are we considering those having a negative effect on the tourism from the United States?
Well, obviously, the US is our major market, and we spend a lot of energy in that space. We have seen a slight downturn, nothing significant, various factors impacting that. Obviously, the US economy, persons are a little bit in a wait and see. We were just through an election, and usually when there's a US election, you do have a little bit of softening of the US market. But overall, I think persons feel travel is all right. And so they are gone from the days where, you travel, it take you years to decide to go. Persons are really, since COVID, planning and making sure that they can travel and experience what they need to experience. And it's for us to make sure we have the right products and services to answer that call. So while it is something we pay attention to, it's not really a major concern. Jamaica continues to be a hot destination for the US market. We continue to really attract those visitors, and we just need to continue to do our work to make sure that we don't see anything significant. You always will have blips that come and go, but we just have to continue to do our work.
My second part really won't be long. How much are we pursuing the non-traditional market? The India, the Saudi Arabia.
Well, we're
Dubai.
here at JPEX. We have a delegation from India. We have a delegation from the GCC. We have a delegation from LATAM, actually quite a large one. The Latin American market is a big push for us. And so we would see now that there is a continued focus in expanding beyond our traditional markets. So we are now our number 3 destinations, of course, the US, then Canada and the UK. Then we have the Caribbean and then LATAM. So we are definitely continuing to look to grow. There's more airlift coming into the market from Latin America. We have some lifts for a code share coming from, with Emirates and Condor, so through the GCC. So there is work that is happening in that space, and we're definitely trying to diversify ourselves so that we don't depend as heavily on the US market. And that's something that we all focusing on.
Good, thank you. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Desmond. DP Herman, I think you're next up. Herman? Maybe you need to unmute.
Yes, thank you, DP Short. I'm sharing computer with
okay.
DP Herman,
All right.
I'm Kiwanian Clovis Metcalf. Thank you very much, Nicola, for that exciting and very comprehensive presentation. I enjoyed it thoroughly.
Excellent.
Let me just ask, as you know, the government has designated 4 IRDs, which is Integrated Resort Developments, wherein we're going to have casino offerings. The first one will be in Hanover, the Princess.
Yes. Princess, yes.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on casino coming into Jamaica, into the tourism operation?
Well, I think it's something that has been talked about for a long time. I think it will enhance the product. Obviously, there is rules and regulations to the game. It's not how casinos used to be back in the day. I think now persons see it more as just an enhancement to the services that are offered. So I think based on what I'm seeing in terms of the product overall, as well as the hotel rooms that are coming with it, it's really going to be a nice addition to our services offered here. So I think we should be fine. It's not going to overwhelm our product because we have so much more. Jamaica is so diverse. We are blessed. And I think we will see that it will do what it has to do, but it's not going to overwhelm all of the other products and services that we have to offer, for sure.
Okay, so it would not come under the list that you mentioned earlier of oversupply for the industry.
Oversupply, sorry?
Yes. You mentioned in your presentation, you were speaking about oversupply. And I just wondered, this is new to Jamaica, so this would probably attract a different type of tourism, because
it will, because there are persons who travel specifically for that type of interaction and entertainment. And so we didn't have it before. Other destinations in the region have had it for many years. And so, yes, you will have that change as well.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Clovis. DP Marcel, I see your hand up. Your time.
Okay,
Marcel?
thank you, my friend. Yes,
Okay.
thanks. Good night. Fabulous presentation, Lady Nicola. Fabulous.
Thank you. My
Listen,
pleasure.
one of the things that I think is obvious. Well, let me ask the question first. Do we still have this tourist season from December 15 to
we do have what is called the official winter tourist season, but the
Right.
product is not seasonal. We operate full
Right.
year.
Okay.
Winter tourist season is of such because that's usually the traditional thing,
Right. Okay.
right? But it is probably when we have some of our strongest occupancies, even
Yes.
though it is not the strongest. July is actually the strongest month in terms of demand. That's summer
Yes.
travel. The difference is that in the winter, the rates that you can get are much higher than in the summer. So it's a different type of traveler. and the demand is greater. So
Yes.
we still talk about the winter
Yes,
tourism.
yes. Well,
But we
where I was going, you know,
operate every month of the year and
right,
strong occupancies. So it's
right,
a
right.
year-round business. We
I
don't
realize that. I
close
realize that.
anymore, to in the slower months, because the months aren't that slow anymore.
That's where I was going, because when I listened to your presentation, well, obviously we're long past the three S's, the sun, and sea. We're long time past that. And there are
Yes, we
so
have.
many areas. So many areas. So what came to my mind, and I really forgot it was called winter tourism season, is that maybe we could take a quarter or so and make it special, focus. Take for instance, entertainment. This is a $1 trillion industry. And I don't think we start to scratch the surface, that we have not capitalized. I mean, it's just not Bob, but I mean, we can piggyback. We have been piggybacking on the Mali phenomenon, right? And there is an artist. But what I'm getting at is that we have a major problem with finding a location or locations to have events where to be acceptable and not disturbing and so on and so forth, and big enough funds. My thinking is that with this $1 trillion industry and if the obvious talent that we have and we have taken the world, is an area that we should focus on more. There's one Jamaican artist who was, let me call his name, Vibes Carter. I mean, this is a job who's charging, I hear, $1 million US dollars for performing an event. And if we can have artists, and we have maybe throughout the year, get a proper location where we can have these events and persons coming, rather than, you mentioned it earlier on, the strap in Puerto Rico. More events where persons would come from all over the world. So the income will be coming in rather than all our artists going. They can still travel, of course, and go all over the place.
Yes.
But Jamaica.
Let's say what Bad Bunny did in
Yes.
terms of a residency and
Should,
driving
yes,
income.
man, residents, right. Should have probably every month or at least 4 or 6 times for the year, not just Reggae Sunsplash and Carnival. Events, at a or a couple of locations. I think of Port Royal, for instance, where we should be having just a right location, right?
Yes. Well,
And we can make a whole lot.
where we have Pirates Festival coming up in November. So that's
Pirates
important.
Festival.
Yes, Kingston's Pirates Festival, which is going to be in Kingston and Port Royal.
At Port Royal, right.
There are, it's really getting promoters to think about their events as global potential. We have some that have done very well, like Dream Entertainment, which was in the Great Island to Montego Bay, which I think I spoke to one of the directors today, and about maybe they're up to almost 90% of their attendees are international visitors. So you have some people, you have some people that have been doing it and doing it well. But there are other persons that maybe as promoters still only think of their event as targeting the local population, which they do very well at, and have thought, maybe I need to expand my reach and see what the potential is. So there's a lot, for persons to educate themselves on through the Jamaica Tourist Board. Every now and again, the JTB offers an events seminar, which talks about how to market to the international market for events. So, these are things that people need to spend a little time and recognize that tourism is bigger than just the accommodation sector. And, I give you, for example, when you're going to Orlando.
Yes.
Does anybody think about which hotel they're staying in? Or you're fully focused on the attraction and then you figure out where you're going to stay?
Yes.
And it's a similar thing. While accommodation has led our tourism in Jamaica, that doesn't mean that an attraction or an event can't be. And then people decide where they're going to stay, but their purpose for travel is for that event or to go to that attraction. So it's multi-pronged parallel strategies. We don't have to be one thing. We can be many things. And we can utilize our assets in various different ways.
There you go.
Okay. Thank you, Marcel. Okay. I want to raise something. I don't see any hands up right now, so let me raise it now. The issue of beach access is going to become even more vocal, you know, and I'm most wondering, how does the tourism industry, I don't know if it's because of the all-inclusive concept, but I think a way has to be found, because I think people are getting restless about this whole issue of beach access. How do you see the industry dealing with it?
Well, it's something that has been worked on, some of it already. There have been beaches that have been identified and money has been spent to upgrade them for particular public access. There's some more that obviously needs to be done in this space. There is a beach policy, access policy, that the GHTA has reviewed with the government prior, you know, I probably know a bit about a year ago, and I know that's being worked on. So I think overall, remember, as I said before, we have not only locals who need access in the different places, but you have a growing short-term rental market, villa market. And so those persons also will need to utilize the beach. So Jamaica has historically been where we are because of issues in the past. And, you know, we have to look at where we need to go in the future and how we can do that, while at the same time ensuring that our investors who have come in over these many years continue to be able to offer a product that the visitors will feel comfortable with, but at the same time ensuring that Jamaicans all around can enjoy their natural environment. So I think there's little things to be worked out, but I don't think it's insurmountable as an issue. I think we just need to work through it and we'll be fine.
Okay, and another question I had. Let me see if another hand is up. Is that, no, that's not a new hand. Yeah, this whole thing about the percentage of stopover visitors that go into all-inclusives versus the other type. And I'm not talking about cruise lines now. I'm just talking about stopover visitors. Give me an idea of what the percentage is. And I'm wondering, and along with that, what I'm getting at is there...
Well, it's not really...
Can we have too much of one?
It's not really all-inclusive. It's more what we call traditional hotels, which would include also EP hotels, all-inclusive hotels, versus non-hotel accommodation. That's really the difference. And no, sorry, approximately...
the point I was really getting to is that I wanted to kind of get a sense for the people who go to the all-inclusives and therefore spend most of the time in it, even though I know that sometimes they go to attractions outside, but versus the people who are not in the all-inclusive and therefore more likely to be going to the Pudding Man or the the other things.
I think everybody goes to the Pudding Man. That's a very popular spot. I don't know. There's this feeling that people don't leave the hotels, and that's not true. A lot of visitors will, do a tour or two. And even if you're in an EP hotel, you will do a tour or two, because of course, everything you budget and you decide what you want to do and spend. For the all-inclusive properties, they are constantly encouraging guests to go out and visit attractions and do activities. I think with social media, every guest knows what they come to the island for in advance. So, you don't wait for a hotel to tell you yes, no, or maybe. People are going out and exploring and going to all sorts of places in Jamaica, whether they're staying at an all-inclusive hotel or not. So I think some of what used to pertain some many, many moons ago is not so much now. And I think as we continue to build out interesting products and services, more and more people will find their way and find these experiences, because that's what the customer is seeking. The advantage of the all-inclusive is that your budget for certain things in advance. But remember that while persons are staying there, they're also consuming the food, the beverage, everything else that we want them. So that's also building out the linkages into the industry, into the communities. And it's for us to ensure that we can supply more and more of those goods and services, so that we are retaining that tourism dollar, whether they're staying in an all-inclusive or EP hotel. I've sold both, so I kind of intimate with both sides of the fence. And it's something that we continue to work on as an industry, because all of us in the industry definitely want to see the benefits of tourism continue to be passed throughout the length and breadth of the Jamaican economy. And it's really for us to share, which I'm doing tonight, what those opportunities are, how you can get into the space as a supplier to the industry, or maybe, you know, becoming an actual partner in business, you know, whether it's a small accommodation, a villa, or whatever it else is, or an attraction or transportation provider. There are different things, or just a manufacturer that provides uniforms for the industry. That's an opportunity. You know, there's so many, how many jobs that you're stolen, new employees that will come because of the growth in all these hotels. You may be a uniform supplier and never thought of selling to tourism, the tourism sector. There's an opportunity for you.
Yes. No, I don't see any additional hands up yet. So let me just ask this though. I noticed
Yes,
I watch
Stuart,
YouTube
there
a
is
lot.
an additional hand.
Where is it? I was tell me.
Mine. Mine.
I'm not seeing it. Just so go.
It's there.
Okay.
Yes, it has been there every now and again. I take it. I just want to
Yeah, man, DP
commend-
Herman is there.
Yes, I just want to congratulate and commend my alumna, Nicola. It's Herman Metcalf.
Hi, Herman.
You gave an excellent talk, and I didn't want to drop off without getting the opportunity of telling you, you know, the possibilities and the potential of tourism, and the way you presented it really made it exciting. The only
Thank you,
thing is that
ma'am.
to make a little balance, my concern is environmental damage. Because if you have growth and growth and growth, which is what we want, sometimes the very thing that attracts people to Jamaica, that results in a negative effect. And the other thing is that, you know, you have to put up more apartment buildings. I really don't like them because they're making the place look like another country that I really don't like how it looks with all these high rise. So, and that is an attraction because of how our place is nice and open. So we have to, I guess, the government will have to make sure that they use some of the earnings from tourism to ensure that we protect our environment. That is always a concern to me. But on the other side, you really opened up a lot of possibilities, things that I haven't been thinking of. So excellent. I think it was well worth my 1 and 45 minutes or 2 hours. I don't know a lot. Very good.
Yes, we're coming to a close soon.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
environmental sustainability and sustainability in general, I don't know. A lot of hotels are in that space and are working on ensuring that we build that into our DNA. I mean, COVID taught us that. So there is a move. So we're building, but we're building more sustainable. Some of the older legacy hotels are retrofitting, you know, to ensure that we reduce that impact that we have on the environment. So I think that's forefront in everybody's mind. Surely when I was at CHT and continue to be at CHT, as I told you, as the linkages chairman for the Caribbean, that is something that is forefront. We have the Caribbean Alliance for Sustainable Tourism, where we give really good information and have members attend seminars, focus on this whole issue of reducing our environmental impact on our carbon footprint. So you have even hotels that are like at zero footprint now, and some of them take it very seriously. So yes, growth is something that we have to do in a sustainable manner. And sometimes it's a balancing act, and we have to continue to make those assessments. Obviously, the government has to continue to make those assessments. So as we grow, we don't lose, as I said, the very nature of what people are coming here for. And Jamaica does have capacity at the moment for growth, but we just have to remain focused and balanced. And even the new investors that are coming in, we are seeing with those sustainable, you know, features built into their product. And that's something more and more is being more and more demanded by the consumer, for sure, as well. So yes, not foolproof, not that there's not things that we still don't need to work on, but definitely it is a focus, and people are moving in that direction in a much stronger way.
Excellent. Thank you.
And Herman, you say when Clovis had used the same link, I thought he had just forgotten to take it down. So I didn't realize you were behind it
I
now.
understand. Oh, no,
Yeah,
but
Anyway,
I thought so too.
yeah. One last thing, Nicola. This I noticed on YouTube, we get a lot of people who basically are promoting Jamaica. Now, it is very, I think when we do ads, you have to do ads and market the country and market the destination. But when individual people do it, presumably on their own initiative, it has a different impact, I think, on people, other people who see their videos. And I'm just wondering, is that ever part of, well, I'm sure you know this is happening, but could that be a strategy?
It is actually. That's what you call influencer marketing. So you have all these persons that are on YouTube, TikTok, etc. Some of them, the Jamaica Tourist Board and individual hotels and attractions will partner with them. Sometimes they will, do partnerships where they just invite them down and maybe give them a free accommodation. Sometimes they just come on their own and decide that they really love Jamaica and they will push things out, and the Jamaica Tourist Board might leverage it by assisting them with a visit to an attraction here or there. So it is a very big part of the strategy that both the private and the public sector utilizes. For example, for any food festival that is coming up, you bring traditional media, but you also bring what we call influencers, persons who have millions of followers online and are promoting destinations, who come and experience it and share it with their followers. So yes.
Great. Okay, I don't see any hands up, so I'm gonna say thank you for our audience participation and hand it back to President Stephen for the other parts.
Okay, thank you, DP Stu. Thank you, Nicola. Great presentation. But to formally thank you, I have none other than distinguished President Chris Robinson to say a few words. Chris, over to you. DP Chris, you're muted, so we're not hearing you.
Oh.
Are you hearing me?
Loud and clear.
No.
Okay.
We know hearing you. No, yes.
Yes, as I said, I'm starting with a complaint. DP Stewart has told me that I only have 2 minutes to do this vote of thanks. However, the introduction of Mrs. Gregg, the president did his own introduction. President Zuri did his own introduction. Distinguished President Newton did his introduction. And finally, Distinguished President Dalma James did an introduction. I know all of those introductions probably took about 20 minutes, but then I'm only given 2 minutes to say a vote of thanks. So, I'm protesting more seriously. But
1 minute left.
I guess I have to work with what is here. But, seriousness, there's many things to thank Mrs. Gregg for. Because tonight, I think she has opened our eyes for those of us who haven't been following up in the tourist industry with what is possible with the industry. The point is the industry is perhaps the largest single industry in Jamaica right now, and it is growing. If you listen and you hear all the new developments which are taking place, you know that it is an expanding industry. And if there is an expanding industry, there is always room for persons to participate. And indeed, tonight in her presentation, she talked about the linkages to the tourist industry. That we're not just talking about sand and sea and sun anymore. We're talking about more than that. We're talking about, as a country, we can have a strong sports tourism platform. She talked about the 5K, Kingston 5K run, and there could be others. There could be big big expansion in the whole question of art and craft. We talk about the music and making, significant impact with the music. Our music is well known, it's well liked worldwide. And certainly, we can, with adequate, promotion, marketing, and events planning, people will come to Jamaica for the music and for musical events. She talked about that there's growth in the non-hotel area of accommodation. The short-term rentals and areas like that. And in a growing industry, that's an area where we can think about investments. Talk about attractions and having the type of attractions where people think of coming to Jamaica for the attractions before they start thinking about where they're gonna stay. That was a very important point, because I too was thinking, a few years ago when my family and we went to Orlando. We never think about where we stay. Everybody wants to go, so we are going to Disney World. And it's after when we start thinking now and planning and say, oh, well, we have to go try and find a hotel right here, so and things like that. So it was the attraction which gets us interested and not necessarily the hotel. Naturally, she spent quite a bit of time talking about the health and wellness and the possibilities in that light. And of course, how could I forget when she mentioned food and gastronomy? Wow. So you see, fellow Kiwanians, visitors, there are lots of attractions and linkages.
I think when we do ads, you have to do ads and market the country and market the destination. But when individual people do it, presumably on their own initiative, it has a different impact, I think, on.
I think VP Stuart was anyway. So having said all of that, we just wish to thank Mrs. Greg for being here tonight and for widening our eyes and our attention to the whole question of our tourism linkages and how we can participate. But that is not just the only thing I'm going to thank Mrs. Greg for tonight. I thank her for being here and for this presentation. But let me again remind and thank her for the tremendous assistance she gave to us when a few years ago the ECNC District Convention for Kiwanis was held in Kingston. And we had to be arranging accommodations for the visitors in Kingston. And Mrs. Greg proved to be a great asset to us. And so, I once again, because I was the one who had to be dealing with some of these things, once again, just thank her for all the assistance that she gave to us on that occasion. And the final thing I want to thank Mrs. Greg for tonight is for giving us the use of her husband for the past year to serve as president of the Kiwanis Club of Kingston. So for all of these things, we are very grateful to Mrs. Greg. And we have a certificate of appreciation here, which is presented to Nicola Madden Greg in recognition of her contribution to the Kiwanis Club of Kingston, and given the 23rd day of September 2025. And we will ensure, Mrs. Greg, that you get this. And we have a special envoy, right, who will carry it to you and to make sure that you get it in your hand so that you can.
I wonder who that could be. Thank you very much.
You open the door when you hear the envoy at the door.
Okay.
All right. So thank you very much, for being here tonight.
Thank you. It was my pleasure. And of course, I will continue to hope that we have some persons who will take some of this knowledge and inspire and take initiatives within our industry and to support our industry. And I look forward to hearing those stories. Thank you.
Okay. President Stephen, back to you.
Okay, thank you, DP Chris. And thank you, Nicola. You didn't do too bad. I'm just joking, you did very well. Thank you very much for the presentation. It was most appreciated. Kiwanians, before we wind up our activities, can I ask a member to ask for extension? Can a member so move?
So moved.
So moved, President.
Okay, and seconded. I heard DLG Willie and I heard DP Chris. So let us quickly conclude our Kiwanis business and we can have some fellowship afterwards. So we do not have a sergeant arm, but I will just level a blanket fine. In this current climate that we have, what's going on the geopolitical stage, having a visa to the United States, both for business or for pleasure, is a valuable thing. Or even if you have a H-1B1 visa, the costs can have implications. So I'll ask all those Kiwanians who currently have a visa to only pay a fine of a US visa, only pay a fine of $300. And for those Kiwanians who do not have a visa and have not renewed it, to pay a fine of $500 because it is considered a privilege at this time. So please offer your donations into the administrative coffer.
One of those who were denied the visas, President.
Well, then they don't pay anything at all because then we understand their plight. All right. So quickly, we do have some notices and announcements, and I'm going to ask DLG Willie to share with us quickly the upcoming Kiwanian events for the next couple of weeks. Over to you, Willie.
Thank you, President Stephen. First, I would like to especially mention this evening or welcome DP Alice Douglas. She brought a team from Dunoon Park Technical Key Club at my invitation. Just reminding members, they brought to my attention that on Saturday evening at 6 p.m., we'll be having a joint training conference together with Kiwanis Club of Worthington. This is at 6 o'clock. This is involved the elected and appointed officers, and more details will be supplied by DP Zuri in the morning. That's this Saturday, 6 p.m. Just a reminder, next week, apart from the presentation, the year-end presentation by the president, we'll also be having the induction of our two new members, Ahije Mattis and Jervin Burton. Just a few other notices. Kiwanis Club of Cyber Connect has invited us to their 13th anniversary meeting tomorrow evening at Footprints Restaurant, 7 p.m. On Thursday, Kiwanis Club of North St. Andrew will be celebrating the changing of guard and installation of officers at Up Park Camp. This is at 7 p.m. The cost is $5,000. And on Sunday, Kiwanis Club of Compton Spring will be having their installation ceremony and brunch at the Pollyanna Restaurant on Stanton Terrace. Cost is $6,000. And just a reminder, the president did mention to us at the beginning of the meeting that on Saturday, October the 11th, at 4 p.m., we'll be having a joint installation with 23 Central Surrey Online and Nation Builders at Hope United Church. So please note that in your diaries. We're hoping that we have a good turnout of our members for this installation. Other interclub opportunities will be circulated in the morning as normal. Over to you now, President. Thank you.
Thank you, DLG Willie. And Kingston Club members and fellow Kiwanis, please note those dates, important things, and we look forward to your participation. I will like to take the opportunity to extend to my visiting Kiwanians, if they have any announcements or events they'd like to share. Now is the opportune time. You can just open your microphone and your camera if possible and advise us of your event.
Good evening, President Stephen. How are you doing?
Hi, President Eddie. Good seeing you.
How are you? Just a reminder, I know we're in Florida.
Yes.
This Saturday, we're having a fish fry, a fundraising fish fry in Lauderhill. So, and you're down there and we're up here, but you have friends and family up here.
That's right.
So you can tell them, ask them to support us. It's $30, and we're raising funds for our medical trip to Trenchtown on the 21st of November. Remember, we're going to have a medical and a dental fair in Trenchtown. And that's the day before our installation on the 22nd. So we're looking for support of all your families and friends in Fort Lauderdale area. Thank you.
President Eddie, can you put it in the chat, the location? You said $30, but on Lauderhill, but you didn't say exactly where. So that people can share it with their friends and family in Fort Lauderdale area.
I will send the flyer again.
Okay.
All right.
Most appreciated.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Okay. Is there any other Kiwanis Club that would like to share an event? Now is the time. KC Fab?
Yes, good night, President Stephen. How are you?
I'm fine, President Thelma.
Good night, everyone. KC Fab will be celebrating its 8th anniversary on the 30th of September. It's going to be an online affair. So, and it will be starting at 6:30. So all are invited. Thank you.
Okay. All right. And as usual, please share it in the chat because not everybody heard all the details. And I'll implore everybody to go out and support.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Any other event? Please open your mic now and share. We'd love to hear your activity. Going once, going twice. All right, but notwithstanding, if you do have an event that is worthy of our participation, please share it with DLG Willie or myself, and we'll make our best effort to get it out to our fellow Kiwanians and support where we can. I'm going to quickly ask DP Marcel, who I see online, for the thought of the week before we formally conclude this meeting. Over to you, Marcel.
Certainly, Prez, a comparison between pride and humility. Pride is concerned with who is right. Humility is concerned with what is right. Enjoy the week.
Yes. Be proud but humble. Thank you very much, DP Marcel. Thoughtful words. And as we conclude the meeting, we thank everybody for their participation. Thank our guest speaker. And remember, next week, we're going to have an in-person meeting, not online. So where you can, please come out to our Secretariat, National Chest Hospital, 7 o'clock as usual. And we look forward to your presence for some fellowship. As DLG Willie mentioned, we also have an induction of our 2 new Kiwanians, Jerwin and Ahaje. I'm trying to get his name right, Ahaje. So we're going to have Ahaje, right, spelled Ahejay. I hope I got that right. But yes, 2 very bright and exciting new Kiwanians who are joining our fold. So we're looking forward to that. And it's also the culmination of this administration. So try and pull out and come out. We'll have a good time. So on that note, I'm going to before I formally terminate the meeting, I'll ask you to raise your glass, if you have a glass or a virtual glass. Let's propose a toast to Kiwanis International and Jamaica Land We Love. Cheers. I formally conclude this meeting of the Kiwanis Club of Kingston. Thank you, everybody, for coming out. Have a safe journey home and a pleasant evening. Thank you all.
Yeah, I'll get home safely. It's from the